Welcome back to the channel everyone, Nova Zane on the mic. Today we'll finally cover Adult Gohan's optimal Oki setups. Check out the Universal Oki video I've done, inspired by WTG, for more insights on the concepts I'll use here today. The first thing we need to understand is how Adult Gohan's frame advantage changes on Oki depending on the combo's height. His JH as usual gives around 60 frames, but 214 knockdowns in general give between 50 to 57 frames. Grounded 214 gives around 45 frames, except for the EX. So I'll be covering the Oki setups for most of his common combo routes, as well as just giving general tips. Let's begin with the corner, since it's most consistent and you can easily find yourself there with his practical side switches and corner carry routes. The first thing we need to cover is going into his level up super, since this is what most people do right away with Adult Gohan. This puts the opponent in soft knockdown, giving them more options that we need to deal with. Doing this solo is risky because of the soft knockdown, but this can be avoided with assists that allow for safe level ups. Honestly, in my opinion, you don't need to force a level up right away solo and risk engaging in the soft knockdown Oki. You can rock a level 0 into Universal Oki to get another hit, and then capitalize from there. He's really not that bad at level 0 in my opinion. Get the level up safely on the kill, whether he's a point or the DHC. Here are some solo level up Oki you can do though. The most common option is forward tech to get out of the corner, so hold 7 into JLL, hit into J2H, and you can side switch this with legs. On block, staircase them down with JH. Although a bit harder, doing JML is better since JL may whiff. But there is a risk to this. If they spark, you're in the corner now. The JM is able to hit up techs, but can be challenging to confirm. I'll give up tech strats in a bit. However, this common Oki option loses the down tech mashes that reach, so switch it up with just standing 5L to cover down tech. But then this would technically lose the aerial tech, so opponents will have habits, and you'll need to see what they like to do and how they respond to your option. We do run into bigger problems when they start to delay tech. They have access to delay up tech due to the soft knockdown, and all you can really do is react, but eventually this starts to get too much for you. The safest thing you can do if you don't want to risk being wrong is backdashing or super jumping away and seeing what they do. I'll have a separate video for actual setups with all of the characters, compiling them all into like a synergistic video. So let's now move on to hard knockdown. At level 0, he has two key combo enders. The first one is after beam loops or 2H, ending with JH sliding knockdown. This gives you access to all the universal stuff, which is the super jump JL with JH, or backdash jump forward JH. They both act as a meaty safe jump as a reminder. But these universal options are much stronger in Adult Gohan's hands. JL's downward hitbox allows it to be used instead of JH. This is better when dealing against up tech since JLL will confirm into a combo on hit, whereas JH doesn't, and strings them down on block. On up tech you can add a J236H after JL. On block you can get a quick 50-50 that most people aren't ready for. Doing after JH allows for solo overhead since it's lower. And it combos on hits after JL, giving you options for many routes. And if they don't up-tech, EX Lex doesn't come out. Just be careful of inputting this too late since you may get EXDP instead. It does come out on grounded techs and is great since it's anti-reflex. But using half a bar if your regular meter is already hitting isn't really worth it. So save this option select if you're worried about reflex, up techs, and have an assist to mix with. J2's fast falls is amazing to change up your super jump Oki timing. They see the normal setup, expecting a falling JH or JL, but then you can fast fall to meet it with a 5L low. This also has the benefit of punishing reflect attempts if they don't time it properly, since reflecting requires you to stand. It can bait and punish anti-air reversal attempts. It's not safe, but it's very quick. And you can mix them by allowing them to see you fall, then going for an IED overhead. This ideal timing also baits out reflex and reversal if you do it right. Adding assists to hide these options makes it very hard to block Adult Gohan. The fast fall also places you into a wait and react situation that we will discuss in a bit, which includes dealing with the latex. You can also backdash to bait Spark if you feel it coming as well. And lastly, another layer to add to his universal options is 214L for an extra overhead. His other combo ender ends with 214L after 5H or his 2H routes. This one usually gives you between 50 to 53 frames of frame advantage depending on the height, so the previous universal options would fail. Instead, go for this setup. Land with 5L, then IED JL. This is really good as it delivers 2 overheads, is easier to staircase down on block, and even works on his universal knockdowns since it's adaptable. You're also not committed to jump up since you can just 5L again for a low, but you do lose his fast fall options in this situation. If you want a more manual fast fall setup, fast fall right after J214L, hold up with JM, land JL, or mix in fast fall stuff. The frame kill 5L can be replaced with backdash front dash, which can help make your options more ambiguous with shimmies. Grounded 214LM only gives around 40 frames of frame advantage, so you need to backdash IEDJL right away. At level 1 and higher, his key combos end with J2H 214L, which usually gives between 52 to 56 frames. Meaning you don't get access to his universal Oki, but the same as the other ones. While the Oki is the same, the specials are better. 214 for the extra overhead is faster. Although gimmicky, JL legs can be used to staircase opponents down on uptech and held on block to get plus frames when landing. This may trick people since using this special usually means it's ending your turn in a block string, but this time you're actually at the advantage. The only downside is that you can't really confirm on hits. Medium legs holding back can be confirmed on hits and can be used after 2 JLs, but doesn't actually give you the plus frames. If you're skilled enough to use the L legs sometimes, and then they realize that it's plus on landing, they won't really know if you alternate and use medium legs, you know? EX legs can be used after 2 JLs to get into some advantage, but the dash is already used here, so you can't 50-50 with another high right away. The grounded setups are useful since you can stay grounded for manual Oki and you don't have to commit to the jump. Manual timing is when you chase and time their specific tech option based on what you see, which is how we countered the late tech. 5L when they get up, but if they opt tech, you jump JL. Adult Gohan can enter reflect after meaty 2L with 2M, but not 5L since there's 2 hits. And you'll have to manually bait reversals out though in this situation, so it's a bit more of a mind game. Here's what's unique to Adult Gohan. Usually when you commit to a safe jump like this, there's a small area that can be delayed text and countered. Adult Gohan's fast fall ability allows you to cancel out of these jumping setups, which most characters can't do. So it baits them into wanting to delay tech mash, but you can manually meaty by landing way earlier than you're supposed to. Because of this mind game, you could even do your setup later and really confuse them on which defensive options to pick. Can even abuse him for picking the safest just block option with all the fast fall fakeouts. The other thing is how he can melee with 3H. It's great because if done correctly, it's quick enough to melee their get up timings and up techs. It can even anti-air some up tech options or overhead due to its anti-air property. It's plus on block if they block it up in the air, giving you the advantage. It's negative on grounded blocks, but you can continue a block string and pressure, but only with 5S afterwards. Now, a little reminder about 5S. 5S after acts as a frame trap. It can be followed up with a delayed 5H to frame trap after that, which also hit confirms the 5S. Or, since it's -2, it can be resetted. You can escape with 2S afterwards too, which also hit confirms pretty optimally and can be followed up with kicks. So there's a lot you can do to be more aggressive or even retreat. However, it does take some skill to hit confirm or to be ready to switch right away into his pressure on block. So this is where that Adult Gohan Mastery really comes in if you want to invest in this character. Now let's go over his leveled up things. At level 3 you get his double dash. His universal Oki is better by using a JML into a regular jump instead of an IED. While this helps you confirm your hits, it can also help you get into his fuzzy high mix-ups if they block, even on up techs. This will likely catch most people if done correctly, but you can also land 5L for the mix between the high and the low. Sometimes if they're too high, you need to use a JH or else a JL will whiff. To access this with 214 Loki, do J2S, hold up JL whiff, then JM, and then you can get into the fuzzies. And double IEDs only really come in for his level 3 since there's more defensive options here like delay tech, so it doesn't really work. Level 5's reverse beat offers a few extra options. Every JH safe jump is now an unreactable 50-50 on blocks, since you can do JL right after for another overhead or land 5L. Everyone thinks the overhead are over after seeing the JH, so adding one after will really catch them off guard. Even if they block the JL, you can then get into your fuzzy mix-ups right after. So you can really layer the mix. 3H Oki becomes much better now since it's less restricted. You can 3H 2H to confirm hits way more easily on down and up techs instead of having to jump and chase. On block, you can get in some mix-ups. You don't have to just pressure with 5S, you can pressure tightly with 5L as if your turn just started. .5L even helps to confirm hits on the ground as well. Backing up the spark bait with 5H or mashes with M's is much stronger since you can string back into your pressure on block if they don't spark and block it. Now for level 7, the only practical thing it has to provide is that doing your Oki with medium TP can actually be useful since it beats mashes even if you time it late. Hit up techs. It can be cancelled on block into your solo pressure, TP again, or assist since if they're ready they can jump out but the assist can help to hold them there. It also helps to bait spark out without giving away anything too. The only thing that kind of beats it is reflect since you can cancel out of it, so watch out for those and make sure to bait them once in a while. Now it's time to go over his mid-screen Oki. At level 0, you can get some Oki from JH Smash or level up full screen away after fast falling. A lot of people spend half a bar just to level up and push them away anyways. Only use EX knockback if you need to get the sliding knockdown. For JH Oki, when you land, input a dash jump JL with air dash JM. This is a meaty safe jump that converts every tech option, even in play stack. .214H Oki doesn't have consistent setups that cover everything, which is why I advise to avoid it. But just use manual Oki in that case. Here's a bonus tip. If you ever need extra damage and need his level 1 to connect, you can vanish into 214M. At level 1, things change since you can end with JH Light Knockback. After this knockdown, whiff another J214L and IDJM right when you land. After his mid-screen rejump route, you can float backwards by holding 7. Then when you land, hold up and slightly delay an air dash JL. This is a meaty safe jump that covers everything and is pretty easy to confirm on uptechs. In place tech is inconsistent though, but inputting 5M after JL can save you. And everything about the manual Oki is the same, except that you'd have to cover uptech by reacting with dash jumping L, so you'd have to be moving forward. Dashing forward into IED with these helps to regenerate assists too if you need them back. Quickly, Adult Gohan has two useful resets. For vanish combos, do 2M, 5M, 3H super jump, light, medium, heavy into a delayed air dash JLL. This gives you good heights to hit them. This is more of a universal and recognizable one, except you can't do just jump LLL reset with Adult Gohan like most characters can. You have to actually input the light, medium, heavy. The next one that's more sneaky is a grounded DR into 214L, 5L low. This will definitely catch most people at first. Now remember, resets all have a weakness that they can be soft teched down into regular tech options, which puts you at a disadvantage if opponents know the reset is coming, so use these sparingly. Level 3 Oki gives you hard knockdown. This means they get up at the same time every time. You no longer have to worry about delay or uptechs, which makes your setups more consistent. In the corner, you have a simple meaty safe jump by holding up forward and pressing jumping heavy. Very easy to execute, and people will think it's too slow to meaty actually and will try to mash out. It can also be advanced. You can start to add in fast falls for a quick meaty low, or grab from this higher height. Fast fall into IED is great to play with their reactions and also bait things like reflex or reversals. While this isn't a 50-50, it lets you use the opponent's reactions against them and play around disrespect. This may be more useful if you can get a great read on your opponents than actual mix-ups. Adult Gohan does have a true 50-50, you have to guess mix with a super jump IED. So you perform this by holding S during the level 3 and do an IED. Hold up, so 9, to float into a jumping light for the high, and hold down, so 2 into 5L for the low option. The high acts as a safe jump as well, so do that if you want to cover a reversal attempt. In the case of reflex, for the high, you can get into kicks, and even J214 for the double overhead OS anyways. Since the low is so meaty, it's very hard to get a reflex out, but 5L low is 2 hits, so only J214 can cancel out of it on reflect. And you can even bait out Spark by doing IED fast fall backdash with the 5H, 5M, and his long reaching tools. Like before, canceling IED with fast falls is a great way to abuse respect when given and go for layered mix-ups, but these carry more risk if done too often without establishing respect. Both of these setups work at any level from 0 to 7, so his level 3 mix-ups in the corner are truly amazing and provide great 2-touch scenarios. Midscreen, he doesn't get as much, but he has 3 main approaches. You can simply run up 5L, which is meaty but isn't safe, but it's great since it's a low. It can be enhanced by doing IED for an overhead from further away, or doing a 2M from the same spacing, although these are more fake. 214LM can be used, and put a slightly delayed L for the same side meaty. Medium is a cross-up high meaty. If they somehow block, the medium is also plus on block. And you can moon jump by holding L and up forward and having the dash macro on. Press the super dash button right when the level 3 animation ends. and hold down into a normal meaty. JM is a bit hard to time though. When he's leveled up to level 3, this is where your double IAD 50/50s become very strong. Quick IAD J IAD for a safe jump high. IAD land 5L for the low 50/50. This looks visually harder to identify the mix. And this can be enhanced with other options like dashing back to bait, adding in fast falls, etc. Here's the fuzzy setup. Hold up with JM, then press JM again, which times it, and then input IAD into JL. JH is the easiest one to land a hit on, but is slower and isn't really a 50/50. Mix in 5L low for the 50/50 low option. It can also be used mid-screen after the moon jump setup, and you can also, depending on the distance, stay same side or even cross up. But this one's a bit tricky. At level 5, you have access to his JH, JL, and JH 5L 50/50. This is stronger because you can do it from a safe jump and it true strings into a 50/50, so it's not like you're picking the low without having a safe jump into it. The only thing that you have to worry about for this is Wake Up Reflect. And the downside is that it doesn't really play with their reactions and it doesn't really induce for further mix-ups. It's just like a simple guess type situation. Level 5 makes it easier to do your fuzzy mix-ups since you can use his big JH to hit first, then into JM or JL, and then into his IAD fuzzy, since you can't IAD after jumping heavy. And that concludes this video. Don't forget to add your unique assist to these setups and create your own type of Oki. Make sure to practice, and remember, Adult Gohan has a lot of flexibility, so be creative with him. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time.